Alright, this episode of JoJo was amazing. Let's fucking go JoJo. Alright, so yeah, this was the best episode in a long time. Maybe since maybe in the second half, this is the best episode. One of them at least. Especially since, yeah, we've had some lackluster episodes in this past, in this second half. Though we did have the Mariah thing, which was hilarious with Avdol and Joseph was awesome, but this could arguably be said as the best of the second half so far. Maybe definitely in the top three, I would say, of the 11 episodes so far. Dude, Jotaro just completely wrecks Darby at his own game. Amazing. Now, see, I don't know how many of you guys are poker fans or if that really um, appeals to you. But I really do love cards. I know how to play 5 card draw, which is what they're playing. When they say poker, like that's so vague because poker can mean Texas Hold'em or it can mean 5 card draw. And in this case, they were playing 5 card draw. Um, and so immediately, Jotaro breaks his finger with Star Platinum because he can see that he's cheating with the second the second to top card, is he realizes that Darby can also memorize the cards some way, and he's able to flip through a book and tell what page he's on just by touch, and so by that same method, he's able to memorize all the cards. And Jotaro does it with Star Platinum's ridiculous eyes because of how fast he is. And so he breaks Darby's finger. I think I might have said Darcy last episode, but it's Darby. Anyway, the beginning was amazing. The whole standing and then when he sits down and just completely calls every card from top to bottom. That was amazing. I mean, but this episode also brought back that really weird censoring that we've been seeing. I mean, it's only happened, I think, what, twice or 3 times so far where they censor the cigarette. But why? I mean, it's not like they acknowledge that he's got a cigarette in his mouth. And we even see it at times. So why is his mouth darkened like that? Like, on some levels, like some parts of it, it looks sort of like just random shading. But when he stands up, it's so freaking obvious that it's like blacked out. Is there an uncensored version of this? Like, I don't understand why they have to do that. It's not like JoJo is for kids anyway. I mean, is it illegal in Japan to do that? I don't know. I would assume not. I mean, with all the blood and gore and ridiculous crap in JoJo, and they censor a cigarette, it doesn't. I mean, if somebody knows and they can clarify, that would be great because I don't know why they do that. But anyway, he really bluffs out Darby in 2 hands. Well, the first one he loses. Darby had a better 2 pair, but in the second round there were only 2 hands. Jotaro had nothing. He literally had nothing. But the way he bluffed him out was, as you know, he had all his cards on the table and just said, "I'm fine with them." And then he proceeds to psych him out through multiple layers of, psychological damage. Number one, the cards on the table. He's basically projecting to him, to Darby, that he knows what cards he has. But at the same time, he can't be called out for cheating because it's not proven. You can't prove that he knows it. He never said that he knows what cards are on the table, but he's implying that he does. And so then, the second layer of it is Star Platinum speed. Can Star Platinum switch all the cards in time without him noticing? And so to do that, he first steals a cigarette and lights it before he even realizes what has happened. And so it puts a layer of doubt in his mind that maybe Star Platinum can move faster than I can even react and can switch all the cards. Like while he was, because it could have happened any time while he was looking at his own cards, Darby, when he was picking, he was looking at his four king or three kings, and then he's like Kozo one card, Kozo being kid or whatever, but then um, he steals some kind of alcoholic drink. I don't know, margarita. I have no idea. He steals an alcoholic drink, which I thought that was amazing. It was just adding another layer of doubt into his mind. And then, I mean, the thing that really killed him was the fact that he kept wagering more and more souls. He wagered his own, he wagered Avdol's, Kakuin's, and his own mother's soul to Darby. And the real killer, obviously, was, the fact that he has to reveal the secret of Zawardo, which we know is Joestur, by the way. If you haven't, I think they did mention it at one point. Yeah, Zawardo, or the world, whatever. Um, I haven't seen it yet, but I do know what it's called, obviously, because that shit's been popular for years. But yeah, so he has to reveal the secret of Dio's stand, and that really kills him. He tries to say call, but he just can't do it. He can't force himself beyond that barrier to speak it out completely, and it looks he ages like crazy, and just he passes out, and that's tacitly conceding the fact that he lost, and he said he gave up in his heart, and so that was it. Was that Joseph that gave up in his heart, or was it Polnareff? I can't remember, but I think it was. I think one of them did that, right? But anyway, so Jotaro beat the crap out of him mentally, and we find out that it was all worthless cards, and it was amazing. I thought the mind games of this were just awesome, off the charts. Uh, in terms of, I mean, we didn't get a lot of story progression, obviously. We've only just left the place where they've been in since for 2 episodes, and but it doesn't really matter in my opinion because I thought this episode was worth it. Last episode not as much, but this episode absolutely. Though I guess, I mean, if you want to be technical, last episode had to be the setup for this one to have an amazing finisher. So I mean, whatever. Um, I mean, this episode was amazing for that reason of just how awesome Jotaro played this match, and really does solidify Jotaro as arguably my favorite character in JoJo. I mean, it's either him or Joseph. I mean, at this point, they're more or less tied. We'll see what happens, but I still think Joseph is overall the better character, but JoJo, for JoJo especially, but Jotaro is, I don't know, he's just so damn cool. Yeah, he's a high school student. What the fuck, right? But anyway, that's it. I went on a while, but I had to hype the shit out of this episode, I guess. So, see you guys pretty soon. So, I just want to add on one more thing that I remembered that I keep forgetting to mention. That I remembered, like, it hit me during the Alessi two-parter at the very end that if Alessi had used his power, his stand against Joseph, we could have had a part 2 Joseph cameo. And to me, like, it's almost like, why couldn't it have just happened? Because it's like, that would have been so sick. Because part 2 Joseph was so freaking good. And to see him, he wouldn't be able to use Hermit Purple. So he would just use Hamon, which would be, oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure his Hamon's grown weak by now as an older guy, but dude, Parju Joseph's Hamon was nuts. I mean, pretty much only second to Lisa, Elizabeth Joestar. So, I mean, he probably would have just completely destroyed Alessi, and it would have been the coolest looking thing possibly in the entire show. But yeah, I just wanted to add that. Don't know if anybody else noticed that.